What is up, everybody? Greg Newmaster coming at you again with another action figure review. I am just your normal average Joe collector. I don't make any money off of this. I just do it for the love of the figures. Maybe someday I'll make money off of it. That would be cool. Because then it can fund my action figure collecting addiction, which is not good, and it's a real thing. It's a real thing, everybody. So be careful because, you just keep collecting, spending lots of money, and you run out of room. And one day I'm going to have kids here, and I'm going to have to sell them all and give it up because kids will be greater than my action figures. Got to grow up sometime, right? But for now, I'm not. So I got here XMen, Nate Gray from the Age of Apocalypse XMen. Let me tell you something, guys. Age of Apocalypse storyline is my favorite, hands down, X-Men story in all the X-Men comics. I'm behind in terms of reading X-Men. I haven't read the newer storylines. The last storyline I read was when they brought the younger X-Men team back from the past. That's kind of where I left off. So I got a lot of catching up to do comics-wise, but in the 90s, I mean, this was it. This was groundbreaking. Legion, the multiple personality disorder son of Professor Xavier, goes back in time with one of his many powers, because for every personality Legion manifests, he has a new mutant power. Goes back in time to kill the young Magneto, thinking that if he does this, it'll make history better. It'll make his father's life better. As if to go back in time and murder Adolf Hitler would make history better. Maybe it would have. But he goes back in time to do this, encounters a young Charles Xavier and a young Eric Magnus Lencher, not Max Eisenhart, whatever that crap is. In recent time, they gave Magneto a new name, Max Eisenhart. No, it's Eric Magnus Lencher, as I've always known him. They're hanging out as young men. Legion comes back to murder Magneto. This is before he is Magneto. Xavier, being his good friend, jumps in the way to save Magneto, and Legion ends up killing Xavier. And when he does this, this creates an entirely new timeline, which is what we come to know as the Age of Apocalypse. And this is it, guys. This is where it all began. X-Men Alpha. Got my original comic here with the foil cover. Awesome, wonderful. And yeah, so it started off the Age of Apocalypse timeline, and in that timeline, Magneto, and this is the coolest version of Magneto in my opinion. A lot of coolest versions of the characters. Sunfire, for example, Quicksilver, even Nightcrawler, I would say. He's a lot more edgier. Though I like the original Nightcrawler because I like his Catholic identity, because I'm a Catholic. And then we get a lot of new characters too, like Blink, for example. We get a more fleshed out version of Morph, even though I think Morph was a character that did exist, but we get like an authentic version of Morph. I think Morph came, I know he was in the comics at some point, but he came to prominence on the X-Men cartoon show. And but we get Morph in the Age of Apocalypse, and he's more of like Plastic Man. He just kind of banters all the time, and he's kind of annoying. And he's cartoony. We get Wild Child. He's kind of like a mini mindless dog mutant of Sabretooth. I'll be reviewing him as well, but he's cool. And then we get an even grimmer version of Wolverine, who is not called Wolverine, he's called Weapon X. We get a dark version of Cyclops, who actually just has one eye, of Havoc, of Jean Grey. So this is the very, which is appropriate for the period, because grunge was the dominant music of the time. This is the angsty, edgy, very, very dark version of the X-Men. And it's a very compelling story, too, because the X-Men, Apocalypse has won. So with the death of Xavier, there's lots of repercussions, and Apocalypse seizes power, takes over the world. There's some parts of the world where humans are still in control, and mutants and humans live in peace. But the United States is almost completely taken over by Apocalypse. His base is in New York City. He does complete genocide, because Apocalypse's motto is survival of the fittest. He's Darwinianism personified. So he just murders all the humans, and Magneto forms the X-Men and kind of takes the place of Professor X, and Magneto really steps up, and he's just awesome. It's kind of weird because he's married to Rogue, so there's a weird love triangle between him, Rogue, and Gambit, and Magneto's still old, so he's like, I don't know, maybe like 60, 70-year-old man, and Rogue's probably in her early 20s. And they have a child together named Charles. But Magneto's awesome, and he has like the long hair, and the helmet design is awesome. It's like real narrow and pointy. Kind of looks like a Spartan helmet in 300. I love it. Love this Magneto. But then we have X-Men. So X-Men is the clone. Oh no, he's not a clone. He's just a test tube baby, created from the DNA of Scott Summers and Jean Grey. They're never together, really, in this. It's Wolverine and Jean, which I like way better. Wolverine finally gets to have Jean, which is a really awesome dynamic. But there's still... It's reversed, though, because in the Prime universe, Logan's always pining for Jean, and Jean is always with Cyclops. But in this universe, it's Cyclops kind of wants to... I think he kind of loves Jean a little bit. He rescues her from the mutant pens, but that's another awesome thing. Wolverine and him fight at one point, or Weapon X and him fight at one point, and Cyclops blows off Wolverine's one hand, or Logan's hand, and Weapon X cuts out Cyclops' eye, which is odd because given what we know about Logan's healing factor now, he would grow back that hand, probably, but in this Age of Apocalypse, he doesn't. So we have X-Man, who is this alternate version of Cable, minus the techno-organic disease that Cable has. Nate Gray is what if Cable was perfected. He didn't have the techno-organic virus, this metal virus that kind of is always suppressed by Cable's mutant powers. Nate Gray has none of that. He was concocted by Sinister, raised by Forge, one of the later additions to the X-Men in the Prime reality. And he's this cool character who helps to take down Apocalypse in the end. Has massive psionic powers, so telekinesis, telepathy. So he's a jacked up male version of Jean Grey. Lots of power, really awesome character. I know he's doing stuff currently in the regular comics. I haven't read it yet, so I don't know what's up, but I think he's a bad guy right now. But so here we have X-Man. He was just an awesome character in the Age of Apocalypse. Let me see if I can focus here. Come on, camera. Be my friend. There we go. Yeah, so look at that head sculpt. Just beautiful. The hair looks great. Hasbro, they do it right. They do it a lot better than Toy Biz did. Toy Biz did do things awesome, but Hasbro just does it better. Toy Biz over-articulated. their sculpts were awesome, but Hasbro just seems to nail it. So here he is, just beautiful head sculpt. I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of how they have the constant effect of his psionic powers coming out of his eye there. But it's cool, I guess. I wish you could take it off. You can't. It's glued in there. He's kind of got the 90s bowl cut there. I believe X-Men is like at least a teenager, maybe in his early 20s is what he's grown to. That's what it looks like inside of his coat. This coat is a new sculpt. Just like Havoc, the 90s Havoc's coat was a new sculpt. Like these sleeves are new. Like I haven't seen any other figure with sleeves like that. Pretty much a new sculpt, but great looking figure. So happy that this line came out. Standard articulation, double jointed knees. There's nothing loose on this figure, thank goodness. That's the only crappy thing that Hasbro has been doing. Like if they have any kind of straps or anything, they don't sculpt it. They just let it hang loose. So there's the back of the coat, top of his head, bottom of his feet, if you want to look at that. Just really great articulation, double jointed knees. We got, I don't think you need a calf cut. They should probably put that in the ankle. There's a thigh cut. Just good painting. Mine doesn't seem to have many quality control issues, no painting defects. That's what the coat looks like on the inside. He can do a nice crunch. He can go back. His head can go up really far. My head's kind of stuck right now. But, yeah, really great. Great figure. Great job. This is the Sugar Man. Here's the ankle. I mean, if you guys have been collecting these figures, you know what the articulation is. But if you've never seen this before, I'll just go through it for you. We got it in the wrist, complete rotation there. He's got kind of an open hand and a fisted hand. Wrist articulation there, if you can see that. Double jointed in the elbows. I think it was with Gambit, they didn't do the double jointed elbows, which was super annoying. And Gambit was a figure that had a coat. They should have done that. That was another instance where I think the Toy Biz version is better than the Hasbro, is the Gambit figure. Because they gave him a cloth coat. I just prefer it when they had the cloth coats, or even the rubber coats, even though the rubber coats eventually deteriorated. But yeah, there's Nate Gray. Looking awesome. He comes with the Sugar Man. I don't even remember what Sugar Man was. Comes with his arms. So here's Sugar Man's arms. I'm going to go through the whole series. Here he is compared with the Prime counterpart in the regular Marvel Universe. We got Cable. Cable is just huge compared to Nate Gray. So yeah, Age of Apocalypse. My favorite X-Men storyline. Just awesome. So I'm going to go through, and I don't know if I'm going to do every figure in the series. I did get the whole series, but I'm going to do my favorites in the series. So if you like the video, please like and subscribe. There's going to be more to come. And I think next I'm going to do Beast, Dark Beast, and then Sunfire. So thank you. I hope you guys are all doing well. God bless you.